Terry Ryken Realtor at Sotheby's proudly presents Ken Boxer Live.
Hi, I'm Paul Petersen, and you are watching Ken Boxer Live on TVSB with Tai Babilonia.
From the American Riviera in Santa Barbara, California, it's Ken Boxer Live with your host, Ken Boxer, and co-host, two-time Olympian Tai Babilonia. Please welcome Ken and Tai.
Again, thank you.
Wow, lively.
Wow, thank you so very much, and thank you for watching out there. I'm Ken Boxer, and this is Ken Boxer Live. Let me introduce you to my co-host, who's been with me for a very long time, the two-time Olympian, five-time national champion, one-time world champion, and now I can say with great pride, inductee in the Ice Skating Hall of Fame, Tai Babilonia.
It's exciting. It's so exciting.
How did you learn about that?
An email, and it's what makes this award so wonderful is, first of all, Randy and I are in our 47th year together, so that I'm proud of
and
in itself.
And we've been 2 years.
2 years. We got a couple more decades
to catch up.
But anyway, this award is so special because our coach, Mr. Nix, who coached us from 1973 until 1980, is presenting it to us. So it doesn't get any better than that. So we're honored, and we can't wait till we get it in Las Vegas.
Well, when it gets closer to that time,
Yes.
we're going to do some more things with you.
Great.
And I
Thank you.
as I mentioned before we went on the air, how the loss of David Bowie. It's hurt everybody.
Yes.
And you heard about it, obviously.
I did.
Too.
I saw it on Facebook, of course, and I just kept seeing pictures, and you know what that means when you start seeing pictures and the sad faces, and it was really, everyone is affected by this. He reminds me of remember the Crayola coloring, the box of crayons?
Right.
He reminds me of that. He's so
colorful,
and he's on his own planet, and there's no one like him, so very sad.
Very sad.
Very sad.
Well, on a happier note, though, let's talk about who our guest is tonight.
Oh my goodness, I was so happy to see him when he walked into the studio. He's a TV icon, he's an author, he's a singer, he's a child rights activist. We have in the studio tonight Mr. Paul Petersen.
Oh yeah.
So excited. Yay. So don't go away, we'll be right back with Paul Petersen.
Ken Boxer Live, brought to you in part by Marjoram Wine Company, handcrafted wines and committed to excellence. Harborview Inn, welcome to Santa Barbara's premier 4-diamond luxury boutique oceanfront hotel. The Wine Cask, serving seasonal California cuisine with Santa Barbara's largest wine list. Now back to Ken Boxer Live.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. And we are back. Tonight joining us is the very accomplished actor, singer, writer, and activist, Paul Petersen. Paul's probably most remembered for his character, Jeff Stone, in the iconic television series The Donna Reed Show, and for his many hit songs such as My Dad and She Can't Find Her Keys. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now welcome Paul Petersen.
How are you, sweetheart?
So Paul, what you been doing for 50 years?
Well,
my
where
gosh.
should we start? Yeah,
No,
these things
you know
follow
Tai
you.
somehow, right? You've connected with Tai?
Actually, my wife has known your brother for 30 some odd years.
Yes.
So they worked together at the studio at CBS Radford. Exactly.
Yeah, but this is the first time we've met
Absolutely,
in person.
face
but
to
we have
face.
Hundreds of friends in common.
That's right. And of course, I have watched you for decades.
Thank you.
And here we are.
Same here.
Likewise, right?
Yes.
With
Yeah,
watching.
well.
I remember the Donna Reed Show.
Well,
Yeah.
But let's go
Absolutely.
before Donna Reed.
oh boy.
Mouseketeer.
Yes,
You were
I
one
love
of the
this.
originals.
with
I
Annette
was-
Funicello?
Yes, the original 16. I was hired in April of 1955 and was fired just after Disneyland opened.
So, I love that. Okay, we want details.
There's a
Paul.
story behind that. Let's hear
yes,
it.
there is.
There's got
And
to
didn't
be.
you write a book regarding
Yes, I did. One of my, I think it was my 10th book, was called Walt, Mickey, and Me.
Right.
Where I wanted to have fun with this incredible event. But in that time, at 9 years old, my real name is William Paul Peterson, which when you're 6, 7, 8 becomes Willie Pee-Pee. No, he won't. Willie Pee-Pee, no, he won't.
Oh my gosh.
So I hate
how
nicknames.
funny.
And I was very small, which is a big advantage for a young performer.
Right.
And one guy persisted in calling me Mouse. And after we had performed at the opening of Disneyland, his name was Lee Travers, head of casting, big fat guy. And he walked up to me.
Is he still alive?
No, no.
Oh,
he's
so you can
passed.
talk you can say anything you want about it.
I've been doing this for 30 years. He came up behind me after lunch on a Friday and said, "Hey, Mouse, how you doing?" And I turned around and punched him in the belly and said, "Don't call me that, fatso." And standing behind Mr. Travers, whom I could not see because he's so big, was Mr. Disney. Oh. And at 4 o'clock that afternoon, I was discharged. And as I tell people, it was conduct unbecoming a mouse.
I love that story. I love that. But look what happened after. It was almost like a blessing in disguise.
Well,
'cause
it
you
was.
just took off.
Well, by the time I was fired, I had an agent, Lola Moore, lady famous for her big hats. There were only 2 kid actor agents in town. And I started going on auditions, and because I had been fired, I wanted every job I auditioned for. And I got them. And the parts got bigger and bigger and bigger until I was doing Playhouse 90s and a big movie called Houseboat with Cary Grant and Sophia Loren. And, you know, one of the best experiences of my life. And the following spring, 1958, at 12 years old, they hired me for the Donna Reed Show to play Shelley Fabare's brother, with Carl Betts playing the dad. And it was, well, Tony Dow says it great, poof, there went my life. Because I was there every day, living out this fantasy world as Jeff Stone, Paul Petersen, from age 12 to 20. Everybody else was doing real things, normal things.
And you got to remember, at that time, there was Ozzie and Harriet,
Sure,
Leave It to Beaver,
absolutely.
Father Knows Best, and Donna Reed Show.
Well,
Right.
there were lots of family shows. We were on ABC every Thursday night at 8 o'clock for 8 years.
And there weren't, for our young viewers, there weren't very many other shows and stations.
Well,
at
that
that
is
time.
correct. There was only 3 networks at the time. ABC was by far the baby. But there we were, and we were an anchor. Our lead-in was Ozzie and Harriet, and my 3 sons came after us. So it was a remarkable Thursday night.
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy
Oh,
the...
sure.
Yeah.
Well, nothing wrong with being rich and famous. I mean, God.
Right, right. But you weren't pushed into it. You weren't pushed...
Well, look, my mother was bigger than me.
Oh. Enough said.
You know, I
Okay.
was taken.
Before we go to a clip, what was the audition like for the Donna Reed Show?
Actually, it was very pleasant because Donna Reed had been told by Cary Grant that she should consider me. And Shelley Fabares and I had auditioned as brother and sister the year before for a show that didn't make it. So it was comfortable. It was fun.
Now, when did Bob Crane come on that show?
6th season he
Did-
came in.
And you, you know,
I didn't
had-
like the man.
You didn't? Well, explain, because he had a terrible
Interesting.
death, the whole controversy with his
And
death and all.
let me tell you what the sheriff in Arizona said. He said, "This is one murder I don't want to solve."
He was that
It was that
not
bad.
liked.
You know, look, I had fast cars and faster women, and Crane was always chasing after my girls.
I love all these tidbits.
All right.
I love this.
I want to get back to
I want
this.
more.
This sounds really good.
It was just, he was an unpleasant man. And when he went on to Hogan's Heroes,
go ahead.
it was like, okay, great. enjoy yourself.
But he was unpleasant to work with, or he
was
talked to
unpleasant.
you?
He was unpleasant to women. You know, I won't go into it here, but you know, he had the second largest porn collection in America, and a lot of the people were married women who he secretly videotaped. Now, come on, this is pretty sick.
That's not cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to
I
the
know,
clip.
that's a whole other show.
You know, but even his children agree with me. You know, he's just.
And you knew back then.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
And here's the funny part. He was one of the best morning disc jockeys you ever heard. He was on KNX, the CBS O&O. He was wonderful. His morning show was really fun to listen to. He should have never come across the street to the,
How long did
studio.
I don't want to belabor this, but how long did it take before you were able to surmise that he just wasn't a good person?
Oh, it was really the first month.
Really?
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. It just,
Okay.
you know, it was very disruptive. You know, we had a family show, and suddenly there was this presence on the set who made us uncomfortable. Me especially when my girlfriends would come by.
Wow.
And,
We could have a whole show on
Well,
this.
that's
but
I know.
let's-
That's
But
another book.
and you know, it's not fun to really talk about the dead because he paid a terrible price.
Right.
But no love lost.
Okay. Well, let's watch a clip
Sure.
of you with Cary Grant.
Yeah, now there's a man I admired for sure.
And you told me
Yeah.
before the show that you were friends with him till his death.
Yeah, that's right. I called him Mr. G. He taught me a lot of things, but most of all, he demonstrated the absolute peak of professionalism, skilled in his acting and so generous as a performer. Even to a little whippersnapper like me at 12 years old, which you'll see in the
Let's
clip.
watch Paul Petersen.
I don't know, I prefer to think that no one ever really leaves. Wait a minute, let me try to explain it to you. Here, hold on. You know, see this picture? Mm-hmm. Well, try to think of this picture as being me. My body, eh? Mm-hmm. Now, the picture of its own has no use at all, except as a container for something. And in this case, a container for the water, which you can think of as being my life force. Now, try to lose that.
Okay,
Got it?
that's easy.
Okay.
There.
Now? Well, the only thing is, it isn't lost. You see, it's part of the whole river. It's still in the universe. You haven't lost it.
I guess when you come right down to it, you can't lose anything.
That's right. And probably not even life itself. It's just that everything is constantly changing. So perhaps when our life force, our souls, leave our bodies, we go back into God's universe in the security of being part of all life again and of all nature. So for all we know, that sort of life after death may be very beautiful.
If you say so. Hey, Pop, don't do anything beautiful for a while, will you?
I'll try not to.
If you're just joining us, you're watching Ken Boxer Live with our guest, Paul Petersen. And Tai had a question.
I have a question. A minor consideration
Yes.
is your organization, and can you explain to the
Sure.
audience what it is?
You know, I grew up in Hollywood, had a lot of success, and then the success evaporated.
Right.
And what do you do with yourself? It was a very uncomfortable time. And long about 1990, after being sent out of town by Mickey Rooney himself, who said, get out of town, get your education, they won't let you work for 25 years, which was exactly accurate. Several friends of mine took their lives, Rusty Hamer being the most famous from Danny Thomas Show. Right. And you see, Rusty and I had been buddies for decades. I knew where he lived. I knew he was unhappy, bitter, and played with guns. And I never took the time to go see him in DeRidder, Louisiana, even though his brother John we spoke all the time.
Right.
And then he was gone. And that morning, I called Jay North, who played Dennis the Menace. And I woke him up and I said, Jay, Rusty took his life. And if you don't let me get you help, it's going to be you.
Oh.
Yeah. It was, yeah, it was amazing
Yeah.
because he said, okay. First time in 20 years.
You're tearing up. I can see.
Sure,
Yeah.
That's rough. That's
it
rough.
is. Because he's not the only one that I've lost. Any case, we started a minor consideration, my wife and I. And when I called people to get help for Todd Bridges, who was in jail on attempted murder charges, Drew Barrymore had an autobiography detailing her drug and alcohol use at age 9. All of a sudden, people wanted to help. And it took over my life. A minor consideration is,
Right.
you know, 25 years now, and we've had our successes.
It's so important. It's so important. Bravo to you.
Your outreach, is it to the young actors today or once they've left acting? And when do you reach out to them?
Well, here's what Jeannie Russell, who was Margaret on Dennis the Menace, said. Why are we doing all these interventions? We should be doing prevention. So yes, we have an active outreach program. In fact, a formal program called Looking Ahead, which is administered by the Actors Fund. And we make contact with the young celebrities working today. The tough ones to reach are the kids on reality shows. They are getting shafted. And it's an embarrassment for this country that these children are working without any of the safeguards that professional kids take for granted here in the state of California. We got to fix this because kids in show business, singers, actors, and athletes, Tai, are exempt from federal child labor laws. It's in the Fair Labor Standards Act, and it's been there since 1938. Why? We know what's good for kids. Limited work hours, save their money, have a tutor present, and oh, by the way, pay attention to them when the band stops playing.
Right.
Right.
That's,
And
that's
well,
a big
how did
test.
you go unscathed, or did you?
Oh,
not?
I didn't
You
go
didn't?
unscathed. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you see these scars?
Let's
No,
Live to tell.
look, I made a lot of bad choices after the Donna Reed Show, and I was unemployed and unemployable, plain and simple.
Typecast in the sense?
Well,
Right.
you know, Jeff Stone, the all-American boy, didn't fit very well in the world of 1966. The 60s, there were 500,000 troops in Vietnam.
Right.
It was drugs, sex, and rock and roll, and Timothy Leary was, you know, going out there. I didn't fit. I didn't fit. I thought I was being raised to be Cary Grant.
So did you
And,
rebel? Did you?
Oh, I did everything.
Is that an understatement?
wrong.
That's an understatement.
Look, I mean, come on, you know, it was bad associations, trouble with alcohol, and lost my way, plain and simple. But I got out of town, got back to school, got a contract with Simon & Schuster. And
how many books later?
Well, 16. I've done a lot of interesting things, including the music career. But I get tired of certain things. You know, like, how many books do I have to write? How many hit songs do I have to have? Do I have to work on another series? And the work I'm doing with the minor consideration is 10 times more important and will frankly affect millions of children. And I'd rather have that on my tombstone than she can't find her keys.
Well, tell us about, and very quickly, how did the singing come about?
Well, I'm going to blame Ricky Nelson. Here he's 5 years older. He has this hit series, and he's singing virtually every week, and he's very successful. So the Power Boys at Columbia Pictures had a record company called Colpix, and they hired really good people, Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil,
Yes,
for example.
Exactly.
And they wrote songs for Shelley Fabre and me. Now, Shelley didn't want to sing. She hates it. But I couldn't wait. You know, give me a microphone. Because I wanted to be Ricky Nelson. Are you kidding?
And that's
How fun.
the song you did, My Dad.
Well,
Didn't that hit number one?
No, it was number 6. But here's the interesting thing. It still continues to sell. Every Father's Day, you know, they come and dust it off and say, here, have a box of Kleenex and My Dad.
And you get a little check still.
I do. I
love
do.
that.
Now I had to sue them for it, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Okay, let's watch a clip of your singing. Unfortunately, it's not of my dad, but
I
it's your other hit
know.
song.
Here we go. But this is on
the keys.
Shindig.
Okay, let's watch Paul
Shindig.
Petersen.
I give up, go home and go to sleep. But next night, my date with her I keep. I walk her home, we start to kiss and then it all starts happening again.
She said, just a moment, please. I can't find my keys. And here's what happens while he's waiting for his keys.
She pulls out gumdrops, glasses, magazines, and tangerines. But she can't find her keys.
My keys.
Presley records, spray and jelly beans. But she can't find her keys. Eyebrow pencils, perfume and potato chips and portable batteries. And I'm standing here waiting for a good night kiss, 'cause she can't find her keys.
Jeff, what is the strange power you have over children?
I don't know. Boy, if a girl was going to follow me home, why couldn't it have been a 17-year-old blonde? You know, she just wasn't following me. She was trailing the whole family.
Her name is Tricia.
Hello, Tricia.
Hello, Tricia.
Tricia, what is your last name?
Just Tricia.
But you do have a last name.
But you're not going to tell us.
If I told you my last name, you'd find out where I live and make me go home.
Well, we can talk about it later. Come on, let's have lunch.
Honey. Now, look, we can't just keep someone else's child.
Jeff, we can take her back to the park after lunch.
Here, wait a minute. Why do I have to be the heavy?
Because your father and I are busy. Mary is going out. And besides, you're so good with little children.
Oh, brother.
Come on, everybody sit at the table. Come on.
Paul Petersen is our guest this half-hour time.
Multi-talented.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I have a question
Yeah.
regarding the talent that's out there now. Miley Cyrus, Britney Spears, the Katy Perrys. What advice would you give to parents who want to put their child in the business?
Well,
It's
first of all, for the kids' sake,
right.
you got to pick your parents with care.
Well,
If God has given you this enormously talented kid who doesn't mind the discipline, understands rejection, and presses ahead,
right.
then you got your hands full. But you have to plan for the next adventure. Careers in the entertainment or sports world come to an end.
Exactly. Yes.
And I would rather see parents exercise their influence towards a college degree and letting the now grown child make up their own darn mind.
So
It's
you would
not-
wait.
Yeah, I think that's the best policy. But for those kids who do succeed early, you got to take a break. You got to do the Jodie Foster thing. At age 18, you look at all of the hangers-on and say, "See ya.
Right.
I'm going to school," and take a powder for 4 years.
Right.
You got to do
Great
that.
advice.
Well, what was it like
Great
for
advice.
you right after Donna Reed? You said 8 years. After
Yes.
8 years, then just it was off the air. Then what happened? in your
Simple
life?
formula. The year after Donna Reed Show, I worked 16 weeks. Next year, 8 weeks. Then 4 weeks. Then not at all. It was a very steep decline, and it felt horrible.
But what about the music career? Didn't that?
I didn't.
You had other hits too.
I respect music. I played trombone and piano. I played in the LA Junior Philharmonic, for goodness sake. But I didn't have what the people I admired had, that great love of music. I got to work with the Supremes and the Drifters, Tom Jones, Gene Pitney. I couldn't do that night after night. I couldn't do it.
But was it hard for you to kind of assimilate back into? You said you had to go. You went to school.
Yeah.
And here you were, an idol. to
but
thousands, and all of a
it
sudden
was
now
deeply
you're going to
uncomfortable.
classes. What was it like?
Because professors, they are envious, and frankly, they want to take it out on you. You know, being famous and young is a lot of black eyes and bloody noses. If I told you how many times I got in fights defending Shelley Fabre's honor, you wouldn't believe it. Because kids are not angels. They're mean, and they can be cruel.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you're different, you're under a lot of stress.
Wow. You know, the time has gone by so
But this is
quickly.
such
No,
great
this
advice.
can't be
It's-
done.
We are.
It goes so
And what I'm
fast.
so appreciative is that your honesty and sincerity and just straightforwardness
The best.
for all
Thank
this,
you.
the
The best.
background of Hollywood. We just heard.
I think there's another book. I think there's
Well,
one more book, Paul.
I have to wait for a couple more people to die.
Thank you.
And on that
On
note,
that note, thank you. Well, that's our show for tonight. Joining us for our next show will be the actor who played the role of Potsy from the hit television show Happy Days. Mr. Anson Williams will be joining us. Okay, so for our guest, Paul Petersen, and for Tai Babilonia, the Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
and our director, George Montalvo, and the entire KBL crew. I'm Ken Boxer. Good night, everybody, and thank all of you.
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you by the following sponsors. Terry Ryken Realtor at Sotheby's, your broker with a personal touch. Palazzo Restaurant, where people don't leave hungry or thirsty. Harborview Inn, welcome to Santa Barbara's premier 4-diamond luxury boutique oceanfront hotel. Wendy Foster, Santa Barbara and Montecito's premier clothing store. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. Via Rosa Inn, let us pamper you in international style. La Quinta Inn and Suites, conveniently located in downtown Santa Barbara. And by Taffy's Pizza, delivery, pickup, or dine in. Marjoram Wine Company, handcrafted wines and committed to excellence. Woody's Bodacious Barbecue, voted best barbecue in Santa Barbara for over 30 years. Santa Barbara Bar, finally, nutritious, tastes great. Country Catering, Meat Market, and Deli. Their food not only fills your plate, it nourishes the soul. The Wine Cask, serving seasonal California cuisine with Santa Barbara's largest wine list. Jack's Bagels and Bistro, serving the very best food in a friendly and relaxed atmosphere. Quality food and genuine drinks. Jill's Place, where the locals go to eat. Lito's Takeout, serving the best Mexican food for over 30 years. Paul Mitchell, the school, dedicated to helping students achieve their goals. Perfect Computers since 1990. Ice in Paradise, fun for the entire family. The Santa Barbara Access Card. The Ken Boxer Live musical theme by Mr. Michael J. Leslie. From all of us at Ken Boxer Live, I'm Baron Ron Heron. Good night, everyone.